Alright, y'all. I already pressed play. Oh, not so. Oh,
microphone.
Well, Justin got the stand. So I put the boom mic on there.
Oh.
So the boom mic should be able to pick up everything.
You push record.
Yeah, I push record.
Okay, can we make sure it's like picking up everybody's voice?
Or is it not going?
It is. I mean, the regular mic will pick up everybody's voice. It's the clarity that we get the other mics for. Or whatever, right? So it's gonna pick up everybody's voice. We just talk a little louder, and it's gonna pick it up. It's gonna pick it up.
All right.
It's gonna pick it up.
Intro. Y'all gonna flip a coin? Rock, paper, scissors?
What's up, everybody? It's your girl, Gabby.
Oh, damn, crazy ass girl. You gonna let me sit down? This shit crazy.
First of all, why would you get up?
Oh, damn.
He pointed to me and said go, and then got
Yeah, I said go, but damn, you ain't paying attention to the cash?
Okay, so.
Alright, cool. Go ahead. Somebody count.
Hold on, I gotta start the timer over.
It's only 10 seconds in.
It's 10
It
seconds.
don't matter. It don't matter.
3, 2.
We organized in this. We way better than this, okay, Rashad?
No, we ain't. No, the fuck we not. But okay.
1.
What's up, everybody? It's your girl, Gabby, and you are here on another episode of Culture Unplugged. Today, we have a special guest, Mr. Rashad, here to just talk about his story with us. And per usual, we have
You know what it is.
Mr. Justin Johnson himself, y'all. And next to Mr. Johnson, we got Tanisha.
It's your boy Pierre.
Yes, sir.
Don Smith.
And
Yeah.
Don Smith. So, to kick things off, listen, we heard a little bit of your backstory, right? Kind of dive into the full scope of things, because I got a few questions. I'm not going to hold you.
Understood. Yeah, we just had a little conversation about my story, a little bit about my testimony. Divorced, single dad, 4 kids, but what led me here was a lot of heartbreak, a lot of counseling and searching for the man I am today. Tried the married life a couple times, didn't work out, but the second go around kind of led me to where I am now, to where it made me learn a lot about different perspectives, how to handle things, how to react to things, and kind of, find my peace. So, more backstory on it. I took care of my mom when she was diagnosed with dementia. I had to step in and a little bit louder. Yeah, I had to take care of my mom when she was diagnosed with dementia, put her in a nursing home. Had to be the power of attorney, #1 guy to call for everything, all the decision making, medical decisions, and all the updates from my mom. So on top of that, I had a house with a wife, 6 kids, blended family. That was another obstacle, another layer to what I had going on in my life at one time. A couple years go by, mom gets really sick, and she ends up on hospice. And we brought her back home, and we thought we were gonna have her for about a couple months, maybe max. She only lasted 10 days. I saw her take her last breath, and then right after that, I had to go right into planning a funeral and getting that all set up, signing all the documents. I don't know if a lot of people understand this, but you have to sign the contract for the funeral. You have to sign a contract for the burial. You have to give them all the pictures. You put all the verbiage in it. You do it all on top of grieving at the same time. So doing all that, but again, still at the other side where I had I'm a husband, I'm a father, 2 6 kids, and she passes away. 2 weeks later, my wife decides she leaves. She took her ring off, was frozen across the room. And it all happened in 1 month. So life came crashing down all at one time. And it led me to go back to God and beg for peace, because I didn't have peace at all. So I'm begging, repent for all the things that I've done, gave it all to him, and a couple days later, she left. She moved out.
So let me ask you this. What do you think, from your viewpoint, what do you think was like a breaking point for her?
Breaking point for her, she didn't like my kids. I think it was too much for her. Um, it was a lot of, we didn't have any issues personally, me and her, but the biggest issue we had was how she treated my children. It was very biased. It was always her kids versus my kids. It was always an us versus them mentality. And I found myself begging for peace and begging for my kids to be loved by her, while I'm loving her kids as my own. You know, I discipline them, I love on them, I teach them things, I buy things for them, all the things. But
That's how it's supposed to be.
yeah,
Yeah.
but
Well, I mean, so my thing would be this, right? So, me personally, I do salute all the stepfathers of the world. I salute all the stepfathers of the world. Me personally, I would make a horrible stepfather. So on this particular situation, I would probably see more of her side, but I would have been more honest up front with a blended family. You know what I'm saying? And it wouldn't have been a thing. But for your situation, going into the blended family, what were some of the questions that you all asked, like about each other's kids, about your kids? Like, what's some of the questions? How did you prepare your kids? How did she prepare her kids? And what were some of the pros and cons that you all already knew about going in this?
well, the cons was me separating from my boy's mom, taking a little time to myself, and then getting into another relationship with someone else, and how my kids would accept that. Initially, they were okay with it. Everything was good. Honestly, it was good. It was a slow, hey, this is who this is. This is who this is. We were together. We spent time together. The kids spent time together. We kind of eased them into it. But then just over time, it just went from.
How long was it before you all introduced the kids? I mean, how long were y'all together or dating before you all brought the kids into the situation?
I would say about 3 months.
That's how
3
it
months. That's quick.
That's
Looking back on
I mean,
it.
go ahead. I'm
Yeah,
just
What were their ages at the time?
At the time, yes. My oldest was 9, and my middle son was 6. And then she had a 13-year-old daughter. I guess at the time, an 11-year-old son and a 5-year-old son. And again, just kind of brought the kids together, and it kind of worked out.
Anybody been part of a blended family at all?
So I haven't been in a part of a blended family. I was actually going to go back because I just want to ask you, because it's kind of hard for me to believe it was just stemmed on the children.
Yep.
Because marriage is sacred. It's supposed to be sacred. So for you to say she just, threw the ring and she said it was over, do you think it was anything else that made her run away from the marriage other than the children? Because for me, I just feel that's hard to do. Like, that's tough. Just to say, I don't like your children. I am done with you. Do you feel like it was anything else going on? Because you did mention when we talked on, that, she was staying out late and all that. So
yeah, that happened afterwards. So
okay.
a little bit of part of what my accountability piece is. Right. So I'm back up a little bit. Mom passes away, and time goes, like a week goes by, then 2 weeks go by. When you're in charge and you're the power of attorney and you're doing all, you don't really feel anything. And I was numb for about a week or 2. And then during that time, she went back to yelling at my kids again. She went back to accusing them of things that they didn't do. And then I would combat that, like, hey, just leave him alone. Like, they're back in the room. He ain't doing nothing. He ain't doing nothing wrong. Like, leave him alone. And but she's the type that if you call her out on something, she won't talk to you. So she silent treatment for the time I'm grieving. So I'm in the military. I know a lot of people knew that I was going through some things, and people were reaching out. Hey, how you doing? Let's go out for drinks. I'm praying for you. All the things, all the love, right? I'm getting all that from everyone else, not my wife. What happened was, someone reached out, asked how I was doing. Female reached out to me. she lost her mom as well, her grandma as well. It was my grandma. So we related on that terms, and she just checking on me every day. And then what happened was, leading into where the wife took the ring off and threw it across the room, the female called me. There, see, this is what happened. I said, this is what happened to the
And
female.
now it's coming
It's
together.
coming together.
Hold on.
Let me tell you.
I
Tell you what happened.
Let him finish.
That's what happened. That's what happened.
I know what's going
That's
on.
what happened. I'm not going to sit here and just say it was just all her. I don't think this is what led up to it. Lady calls me, 30-second conversation. Hey, sorry to call you this late. I'm just going down my call list. My friends left me at this club. I need a ride. Would you mind pick me up, take me home? I go, no, I can't do that. I'm at home with my family. And all the kids are there. I was like, I'm at home with my family. I can't do that. I'm sorry. Hopefully you find somebody. All the things. Hang up. Wife comes down. Hey, who's that on the phone? I lied. That's where I messed up. I lied to say it was my boy.
Okay.
But then I was like,
You a Libra, bro?
I was drinking. I was frowned that
No
night.
excuse, though.
No excuse.
What's
No
your
excuse.
zodiac
I'm a
sign?
Taurus. I'm a Taurus. And it clicked. I was lying to my wife. You know what I'm saying? And I immediately, like, no, that ain't what happened. This is what it was. This is who it was.
So now,
She got my phone, went through it, called the girl, and was like, hey, why'd you call my husband? And what I heard was, I'm just calling asking for help. And she was like, well, he lied about the phone call. She was like, well, he lied and said his friend called. She was like, I'm his friend, And she was like, and she just hung the phone up and took my phone and just destroyed it. I'm talking, destroyed my phone. And immediately, and within minutes of that happening, goes to Facebook and says she's single. Took the ring off first, of course. Took the ring off, ran out the house, immediately went to Facebook and said she was single. And
So
we never, recovered since then.
Say what you gonna say.
So let me ask
Say
you
what you gonna say.
this. Let me ask you this. Have you ever cheated before?
Absolutely not.
You never cheated before?
No.
Has
You
she
look
ever
like a
cheated
cheater.
before?
On her.
What does a cheater look like?
Yeah.
What? What does a
I just
cheater
said the man don't look like a cheater.
What does a cheater look
I just said he don't look
Nah.
like a cheater.
no.
He doesn't look like a cheater.
He's definitely being biased.
yeah, he been buying.
That's bias.
Yes.
There's
you-
no certain.
This is
Nah,
your
ain't gonna
home.
Is that bias?
This is
There
your
can't be
home.
like a bad guy demeanor.
I'm just saying. Have
He
y'all?
doesn't have a bad guy.
Bingo. Okay.
No,
You see what I'm saying?
But
You see what I'm saying?
that doesn't mean
I'm
anything.
just saying. I'm stunned.
Because
He say he's stunned.
I'm stunned. I mean, I'm shocked. I'm like, damn. Yeah, I ain't say he didn't. I just said
He don't look like. But what it look
Yeah,
like,
there's
Justin?
no
What do it
certain-
What
look
does a
like?
cheater
What do a
look like?
cheater
Cheater
look like?
come in all
Okay,
kinds
so
of different looks.
okay.
Cheaters
So
come in all
I-
Pastors cheat.
yeah,
Doctors cheat. Like,
Oh,
literally.
I can honestly say I did not cheat on my wife at all. But that situation made it look like.
Yeah,
Have you ever had
It made it look
situations?
really.
You
I made it
had
look really
situations
bad.
past where you communicated with homegirl female friends.
Anything that would have made something
One
that would
question
have
at a time.
triggered her.
One question at a time.
Not really. Not really. I didn't
So
put her in
then
a
that was out of
situation.
behavior,
That
out
was
of
yes,
just
very,
something.
very. That's why I think that's what I lied about it because it was so rare
Yeah.
in this particular marriage. I was like, why she come in 11:30? Like, if I say this to my wife, like, that's just gonna.
I mean, can
So
I?
did the female that you talked to, did she think it was more? Like, how did she feel about it? Did she look
No,
at you?
he was honestly like just looking out for me. We were friends. We
Okay,
worked together
okay.
a long time ago.
Right.
She was just
She
looking
need a
out for me.
ride. I mean, I'm just okay.
Why you
Man,
call
I'm just
this
saying,
person
like-
that you never hung out with?
She said she was going down her list.
Yeah.
Right? That's what she said. That's what
Yeah,
he
no one
said.
answered the phone. And she,
Y'all
That's what
listen to
she
the
said.
story.
That's what she said.
That's what she said.
That's what she
They
said.
had a couple
I-
of quick conversations, like, "Hey, I'm sorry for your loss." Da, da, da.
Yeah.
She might have took that as an opportunity, like, "Hey, this person's going through something. And who
Possibly.
knows if they are single, whatever? Let me find out."
She
You know
knew
what I'm
it.
saying?
She
Somebody
knew it.
that's
She knew you had a
somebody
wife.
that's
She knew
stranded
it.
don't
She
really-
knew it.
She
Somebody
knew.
that's-
My
Then
wife
why do you
pictures
call
and
somebody
everything
who
all
is
across my desk.
married at 11:30 at night?
That's why I said, like, do she
You
think
put
it's
them
more?
in a
That's what I said.
situation.
That's why I said, do
That's
she
what
think it's more? Because they could. You know
There's
what
a
I'm
lot of inconsiderate people out here. Can we agree to that?
saying? We can agree to that.
Right.
We can't
People
agree to
would
that.
people would call your phone.
Absolutely.
Now
You can't
know-
control what
I got
other people do. You
People
can't
call
control
me
what other
Right.
people do.
at 11:30, 12 o'clock. I do open up the shop sometime at 3 o'clock, right? They will call me at 11:30, 12 o'clock. Hey, bro, you opening today? I'm like, gee, really? That sound like
But
it's
she ain't
cold
gonna,
for something
your
else.
wife
It's
ain't
like,
gonna get mad at
bro,
that,
like,
though.
why is
She ain't gonna get mad at that. It's a dude on the phone. She ain't gonna get mad at that. She ain't upset about that.
Right.
So that's why
Well, I
I
mean, you gotta have a pass. I got it. You probably think different.
But it's different if you have a relationship with somebody at the time.
Yeah.
Like if I call you And in the middle of the night, I'm like, hey, I really need you. It'll be different because we're in an ongoing relationship at this time. Like, well, we know we have an established friendship. For somebody to call you out the blue, who you don't communicate with, who you don't have an operation or business with or nothing, and then you lie to me about it, it's going to raise some suspicion as a woman.
And I think,
absolutely.
I honestly think that the only problem was that you lied about
Absolutely.
it. Like, had he just told the truth,
Well,
this
the
specific
truth.
situation, I don't think that she.
Oh, we acting like the
you know
truth
what I'm saying?
is that hard. I mean, that easy
It's not.
to
It's
do.
not.
It's not that easy to do when you already evaluate the situation. Like, bro, this is even though you didn't put yourself in the situation, right? You know, like, she came downstairs, how it looks.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You already know how it looks. And then to hurt somebody and say, hey, that was old girl calling you out a ride. She like, now it's going to, what she calling you about it? What this about it? So you like, damn, like, hey, look, gee, check it out. But, okay. Go ahead.
I would have to say that I feel like the reason you chose to tell that lie was obviously because there was already some other issues that y'all were going through, and you just like feel like me telling her this was just gonna add to everything else?
I think you're wrong.
No. I'm asking you a question.
Go ahead, I'm listening to
I mean,
you.
like I said, the biggest issue was the kids, and I kind of freaked out in that situation because, like you guys said, it was very rare for a female to call me that late, and then knowing her, I know how my ex-wife was, where I would have said, hey, a female called me, and she probably would have acted the same way she did even when I lied. So I was just honestly trying to avoid conflict.
So you feel like if you would have told the truth, you would have still got the same reaction? That's what I'm. That's
absolutely.
Yes. Hey, let's hear from you.
Yeah,
what you got?
I just wanted to ask, in the months prior to your mom passing and everything that went down, were there any signs that she was unhappy besides your kids?
Yeah, not other than my kids.
So the kids was the biggest
issue.
Biggest issue.
There was no issues. She can tell you if you talk to her. We didn't have any issues between each other. No infidelity, no disrespect, none of that. It was she did not like my kids.
So was they disrespectful to her, talking mean? Like what leads up to that?
So in the beginning, everything was good. Everyone was doing well, and then my oldest, he didn't take to her.
Okay.
And then so it was him he wasn't listening to her in the beginning. Well, toward the middle, I would say in the middle, he had this little spat where he was rebellious toward everybody.
As kids do.
Yeah, and she would take it personal. She wouldn't, treat it as like a parent would, like I did her kids. She took it personal, like it was a grown man not listening or telling a white lie or something like that. Everything they did was the worst thing in the world.
Was she really strict with her kids?
No,
But she was strict with yours.
strict on mine. Everything had to be handled like harsh discipline with my kids. Harsh discipline with my kids, but her kids do something, it's like, slap the wrist.
Yeah.
And if I would discipline her kids, she would go and deflect from her kids to my kids. Her kids would do something. I go, hey, look, little so-and-so did this. Well, your kids did this.
Yeah, okay, so I've been in a situation where
years of that.
I've been a part of, I'm not going to say a blended family from that end, but say you're in a situation where your mother has children by different men. Now the man that she's with, the children who belong to him will get that favorite, like that favor from the parents. Yeah. Right? The stepfather and the mother. So we weren't blended as far as like not being siblings, like biological siblings, but we were blended with fathers, through fathers. Yeah. And I did notice how the scale kind of tilted more towards the other kids. And I could see when they did something, it wasn't a big deal. Yeah. When I did something, it was always like an over the top, or my big brother did something, it was over the top. You know what I'm saying? But I noticed that. So I do know in these situations how people tend to be with their kids. And there's been situations where myself, I have been, let's say coaching. I coach some kids, right? I tend to pay more attention to my son because my son was on the team a lot of times. You know what I'm saying? And that's just what it was. And no matter how much I denied it like, oh man, I ain't showing no favoritism. Like cause we did. We worked hard and we worked 7 days a week. But at the end of the day, when I'm looking back on it now, I'm like, dang, I did kind of pay him some more closer attention, and it could have just been innate. It could have just been my connection with him was closer than my connection with them.
Is it because you saw the potential in your son?
No, it was just because it's my son.
Right,
Potential with no potential. You know what I'm saying?
I know parents do, like coaches to do that. Like I see potential.
But I was really being like a coach father, like a daddy. I'm really
right.
just being honest with you, bro. Like I really was just like.
That makes sense.
Like I'm seeing my son do something wrong, and really it's like I'm seeing other kids do things wrong too. But I would get on him like, hey Justin, like, hey, what we practice at home? Like, but that's right there. It's like my son calling me dad at practice.
Yeah.
Like, no, it's coach. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying that. I'm not to go off the subject, but
No,
I don't want to. Cause I had noticed a couple facial expressions had changed as he was telling the narrative about the lady siding with her kids over the other kids, as if you were villainizing her. Correct. You go ahead.
So you went through counseling. So let's walk us through that process.
So yeah, that led me to counseling. So I started with I had 2 counselors at the time, but I started with a grief counselor who was a part of the hospice program that my grandma was with. So when grandma passed away, I keep calling grandma, that's mama.
Right.
That's mama. We get it. But yeah, when she passed away, they reached out and said, hey, we offer this free service. Feel free to take advantage of it if you like. Yeah, I need it. So I took advantage of it, and her name was Lisa, and she was awesome. So I would lay it all on her, you know, and then she would help me with looking at things in a different perspective. And at the time when I was heartbroken, I would always ask these why questions. You know, I was asking, you know, why would she treat my kids this way and I didn't treat her kids that way? Or why would she say this to me and I would never say these things to her? And her response would be just a simple, it is what it is. She's who she is. She said, you can't change it. It is what it is. I was like, what does that mean? I didn't catch it when it was happening. But then as time went on, that was her response to every time I asked a why question. It is what it is, and they are who they are. She is who she is.
So she never wanted to take any initiative to do any counseling with the kids or a bonding activity with the kids?
No.
Try to get to know them on a personal level. Did she ever go hang out with them by herself?
Never.
Even early on in the relationship, she never did?
No, never.
So you didn't look at that as like signals or signs? Looking back now?
Now, when you reflect on a relationship and you look at what you did, what you did good and what you did bad, and what the other one did as well, that never happened. I did it with her kids because her daughter stayed when she left. Her daughter stayed when she left and asked me to adopt her. So now that's my daughter. She has my last name.
That makes me think that there is something. If she was, you're saying all of these behaviors started shortly after you started taking care of your mom, and she was just.
Oh, it's happened before that. It just got worse.
Before y'all got married, was it?
It was. You would see, as you said, you would see those glimpses of it, like little bits and pieces of it. Looking back, I was like, yeah, she did say some stuff that was like, but she acted a certain way.
What made y'all want to get married?
Like I said, other than the kids, we were good. We connected very well. We had good chemistry together. We spent time together. We traveled a lot. Had a lot of things in common. And just when it came to the kid piece, it was just like some days were good, most days were bad.
Do you feel like she used the kids as like a justification to do what she wanted to do from the beginning to end the relationship?
It's part of it.
Maybe she projected something onto them.
Oh, for sure.
So that's where I was going to, like, if these signs were present prior to y'all getting married, and then even to go as far as to say her daughter realizes that you possess something that she's been missing in a parent and she wants to stay over here versus over there.
Yeah.
To me, I feel like there's like an underlying issue within her. Maybe there's some trauma that she has not dealt with, and she kind of, it's something going on within her as an individual that she kind of put off on into y'all relationship and kind of used it as like a out so to speak.
Because it
So
sounds like she broke.
yeah, she's broken.
In a way.
She's very broken.
Like she broke during the situation.
So was her father around? How was her upbringing?
So her dad passed away a long time ago. Upbringing was single mom. Single mom had 4 kids. So his mom doing it on her own. Then mom going from dude to dude to dude.
What about
That
the
explains.
children? Did her children have their father in their life?
When they were married, he was there, and then when they divorced, he got married again and moved away.
Would you consider her to be religious?
No. She would try when things get really hard. She would go to church for a little bit and then stop. So not religious at all. She's a believer. I won't say
So-
she's not.
Right.
Yeah.
Pierre, I know you have some expertise in the field of mental health. I'd like to know what you're drawing kind of from this. I mean, I know you kind of get into it a little bit now. I just wanted to know what you're drawing from this.
Yeah, I mean, like I was telling Rashad, I feel like, well, first of all, I don't have an expertise as much as I have an experience.
Well,
Right.
well, you know what I'm saying? I mean, expertise, experience. I get what you're saying. Yeah.
But I feel like, based off what you said, because in the beginning, when we first heard your story, there was no acknowledgement of where you may have went
Yeah.
wrong.
Yeah.
We sit down today and we dive in deeper,
Yeah.
and
And
here
it's
you
all
are, and it's still making, it makes sense.
That makes sense.
You know what I'm saying? And I just feel that she used this as some type of opportunity. But once she gave up her freedom, she had been married once already. Has she been married again since? How long have y'all been divorced?
We've been divorced about, separated, but finally divorced officially in June this year. But we were separated since that December 22.
22. And
Yeah.
y'all never even had an opportunity to get like marriage counseling.
She didn't want it.
So she just wanted to end it.
She's just done.
Yeah,
Just
she
like
just
that.
wanted to run. Have you seen signs of running
Absolutely. Yes.
beforehand?
Yes.
Okay, so there's a pattern.
So
that she
many.
was
Yes. She's a runner. Absolutely.
in.
She
Change her
But see-
phone
but
number,
see,
things like
she
that.
would. So she was a nurse and she worked night shift and she was working for an agency where you could just pick up shifts. Every time something went bad at home, I'm picking up a shift and going to work. Get our keys and go to work. And if something we had an argument or something like that, she would get her keys and leave.
Is that how she would describe her childhood? Is she experienced that in some capacity? Her mama, you said she
Yeah.
was
That's why I asked.
they
about
kept
the child.
uprooting
They
and
kept
uprooting.
It happened twice that I know of that her mom
Right.
did that.
And I'm not gonna lie to y'all. The reason I'm sitting here and as I'm listening to him, her childhood sounds a lot like my childhood. My mama, she wasn't committed to just one person. She would like literally, whatever I can get out of this person, that's what I'm gonna get.
Yeah.
My biological dad was not around at all. But everybody else, they made sure I was taken care of, right? And I saw the way that they operated in their adult relationships to where when I became an adult and I started experiencing real life adult relationships, any little thing made me, nope, I don't like that. I'm gone. I can go over here and start over and be happy, and then when I get tired of that, I'm gone. Nope, I'm gonna start dating that one. Nope, he's looking a lot better to me.
Yeah.
It was just like an escape. So I understand that.
Yeah.
Shad, is this your first marriage? Was that marriage your first
That was my
marriage?
second marriage.
And neither one of y'all did them because of like y'all religious or spiritual beliefs. Y'all just believe in being married.
It was kind of one-sided because I'm a believer. I don't consider myself religious, but I am a believer. But it was mostly one-sided. I believed in it. I took it serious, but she didn't. So
Yeah, I feel like
I felt like we can work on this. Like it was a lie. I'm sorry. I was remorseful for what I did. But she was like, "No, I don't trust you no more. I'll never trust you again." No, my this comes back to my traumas that I was going to allude to. That my biological mom, left me with my grandma when I was
Which is
born.
why grandma's mom.
That's my grandma's mom. Mom left me with her to go live in St. Louis with her boyfriend. And during this experience and what happened, it led me to realize I had abandonment issues because I was livid when this woman decided to leave me. I was like, how dare you? And I loved you this much, and I loved you. I did all this for your kids, about all the things you can possibly do for someone. I'm like, you gonna do this to me, but it led to my to learn about my traumas That's what.
Every day.
That's
Me and T, we done gave up. We done gave up now. Y'all do what y'all want to do.
All right, you ready?
Are you ready?
You ready?
Hey, so check it out. Hey, before the break, man, I was rudely interrupted by someone that was that lacks manners and respect for men. But now that we back,
Oh, you're
I like
full of shit. I ain't know you was gonna
Sorry,
put that in
I
there.
said-
Now you
you
told me.
just messed up my intro.
Okay, you told me to keep time. I kept time. Now, what do you want? Do you want
You
me?
messed my
Do you
intro
want me to
up.
respect your instruction, or do you want me not to? Because you asked me to keep time. I kept time, and I stopped you at 30 minutes.
Coach Unplugged, welcome back. I'm gonna start off. Coach Unplugged, welcome back, man. Before I was rudely interrupted by my co-host, Gabby, aka Nisha, aka other names I'm not even aware of right now.
You don't need to be.
Come on,
Get
man.
into it. Get
Alright,
into it.
All right, so now we officially back. We got Rashad here, man. Rashad has opened up and shared his story with us. Everybody kind of weighed in on it. Everybody actually we figured out that a lot of people can connect directly with Rashad's story. So Rashad, where you left off at, if you can pick back up, please.
I think we left off with how I discovered I had abandonment issues and codependency issues too. And I noticed that by how I did some self-reflecting on how I reacted to things breaking down in my marriage and grieving with my mom at the same time. And it all goes back to my childhood and with my mom leaving me with my grandma to be with a man, and my grandma raising me up to being the man that she is now. But what really made the abandonment issues real is the fact that I remember my mom leaving and being happy to be leaving me. And that happened with the wife as well. My wife was happy to leave as well when she decided to leave.
Yeah, that's deep, bro.
Yeah,
That's deep.
That's a
That's
trigger.
deep. That's a trick.
That
That's
is a trigger.
favorite word.
Trigger.
Trigger.
Yes.
And that's what led to all
Trigger.
the
We just
why
talked about that
questions.
the other day
You
on the
know,
phone.
I started asking like, why would my mom do this to me? Why would, you know, all the things. And that's why I kept asking my counselor the same thing. And that's how I learned that it is what it is. People are going to be who they are. She's who she's going to be, and she's who she is. And there's nothing you can do about it.
And we try to control that.
Yep.
We try to, like, your abandonment issue led you to probably, love bomb.
Yep.
And her issues and, her aptitude to run away, she accepted that. She liked that. And in a way, the kids probably kind of got in the way of that. It separated your attention from her onto them.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I feel like that was a profound revelation you had. And that's what your counselor was trying to get you to understand. We can't trip off why a human being does what a human being do. Only thing we can do is process our feelings.
Yeah.
That's deep. That's deep.
That's
real. That's real.
And also I learned how to deal with it positively and negatively. How to react to things.
Right.
Instead of
So one of the things I was gonna say, man, and I'm glad Pierre pointed that out, man. We've talked about you and your wife. How about the children at this point? Let's go, children of the past. When you all were getting together, what was their reaction like getting together?
Getting together, it was kind of a shock to them because they were so used to their mom, and then there's another lady coming in being my partner, and they were like kind of shocked, but then they were like, okay, well, I want her to like us, we want her to like us, we want to like her and things like that, and they were just kids. They were kids. They were 9 and 6 at the time, so they're gonna make mistakes, and they made mistakes. And during, it got so bad to where they were scared to speak. They were walking on eggshells. Like every time they did something, they got
Anxiety.
A lot of anxiety, absolutely. And then when everything broke down, I had to get my kids to. I sat them down and I apologized to them for allowing them to go through what they went through those past few years. And I promised them, I said that'll never ever happen again. But they understood. They saw what I was going through. They were old enough now to understand like what was happening. And it was always all right, Dad. We got this. It's gonna be all right. And,
So during the time of the divorce, the separation, mentally, what or how did the kids kind of handle it mentally? Did you notice any difference in attitudes, moods, eating, school behavior, friendships, anything like that?
It was
Probably happy
more
at that point.
exactly. It was relief.
They was happy at that point because she came through and
It was a relief. They can breathe. They had room to be themselves again.
Yeah.
They can actually speak their minds. They can make mistakes without getting shunned and grudges held against them. And that was the household I always wanted. I was begging for when I had her, but that's the household I have now. That she's gone. It just took her leaving to get the household that I prayed for. And yeah, now they're great. They're growing. They're great in school. They're actually, I can see their personalities, forming as they grow. And everyone can come home now, and instead of their chest hurting and not speaking their mind, having that anxiety, they can
So
from the outside world. They can exhale. They can breathe.
So knowing everything that you know now, looking forward, I don't know if marriage is off the table or on the table still for you, possibly.
you probably traumatized.
Well, just say relationship. Your next relationship. How would you handle it, considering the kids, what they've been through, considering you, what you've been through? What are some of the questions that you would have for a mate going forward? Or credentials, questions and credentials.
The boundaries I have now is my kids gotta have some. They gotta like you.
Right.
They gotta like you, and if they have some kind of feeling to where they like, I don't know about this one, you gotta go.
You assess it.
Yeah, assess them like, why you feel that way? I would talk to my kids. I have open conversation with my kids. Like, hey, you feel a certain way about this person? Why? And then my daughter is the most honest person ever. Like, I love her. I love like going to her and asking her opinion on things because she gonna tell it how it is. And if she don't like it, she don't like
Do you
it.
believe that they gave those open opinions when they were younger in this relationship?
They did not. They did not give those, but they were just so anxiety filled to where they couldn't really express themselves.
Do you
They
think
felt
of
like
age maybe?
Yeah,
So-
they were very young.
Speaking of your daughter, will you share with us like the events that led up to her being adopted by you? This is her adopted daughter
That's my adopted daughter.
that you had from the last marriage.
No, this is my ex-wife's daughter.
Right,
Not
right,
his
Right,
daughter.
so yeah, not my
Correct.
biological daughter.
So,
So I came into her life when she was 13. She was 8th grade, going into high school. Literally just graduated 8th grade. And her dad didn't get along much, but I was always there for her, always talking to her. Actually, always been like a father figure, absolutely. We communicated. We got into it during the years, just teenage stuff. But I always sat her down and had that open communication with her. But what led to it was prior to her mom leaving, mom would leave 9, 10 o'clock at night, get dressed up, all smelling good and weed, and would leave her with the kids. Like if I was gone doing some military stuff, she would just boom, I'm gone, I'm leaving, get her keys, I'm gone. And she kept doing it. And my daughter is very outspoken, and called her out on it. One time she left, she was like, all right, I'll be the mom to the kids, because you're not being the mom to the kids. And the mom got upset, and they went back and forth about it. Mom still left. She ain't even considered nothing that the daughter was concerned about. She still left. So that kept happening, and she felt like, hey, if I go with her, I'm going to be her babysitter. I don't want to be her babysitter. Like, I want to live my life. She was 19 at the time. So I just want to live my life. I'm going to college. She got a full-time job. She's living her life. And she didn't want to be burdened with her mom's shenanigans, always going out all the time, leaving her with the kids. So she was like, I told her, I say, look, if you stay here, you live your life, you don't have to do any of my responsibilities. I'm gonna take care of my responsibilities. Kids, my kids. If you could, every now and then, if you want to watch the kid, okay, fine. But I'm not gonna burden you with that.
Right.
And she decided to leave, to stay. And then she was more relieved too when her mom went. She was ready.
And I resonate with that
Yeah.
because my mama had me when she was 15, but it's 5 of us and I'm the oldest. So as we was getting to like 21, 22, 23, in her age, I was being left with. Like my mama literally has called me the built-in babysitter.
Yeah.
So I would have ran the fuck away too.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
So yeah, if I could have.
I built the standards where if you can, go ahead. But if you got something going on, that's do you. I'm not. Hey, you need to stay home and watch the kids. No, absolutely not. I didn't want that for her, and of course she didn't want that for herself, and she stayed, and she's still here with me.
So at 19, she came to you.
Yeah.
Like, and you adopted her, and she took your last name.
Like I was sick. She texted me. I got a text message from her. She was like, "You should adopt me," just out the blue. And I thought she was joking because we joke a lot. And then she came home later that evening. I was like, "You serious about that?" She was like, "I'm serious." She had a big smile on her face when she said it. I was like, "Oh, I'm going to the courthouse tomorrow." I went to the courthouse the next day.
That's amazing.
That's so powerful
Yeah.
because at 19 she didn't need to be adopted.
Right.
She was already legally like emancipated from her
she's
body.
an adult.
She was an adult.
Yeah.
So it was her attachment to you that, and like you said, she
The
took your
good
last name,
is
right?
But she didn't have her father.
No, he abandoned her.
Do they have
He
a
left.
relationship now?
No.
The mama.
Oh,
That's the one that
So
left when had the other.
Yeah, he left, got married, and he in California somewhere doing his thing, living his best life. But as far as her and her mom goes, I mean, it's tolerated. It's not like a fixed relationship. It's like she can just deal with her so much to where she needs space from her. But she's trying. I get ready. Yeah, that's it. In dosage, yeah.
Yeah, and that's why it's important to kind of understand how what the parents are, going through is affecting the kids, because you can obviously tell her seeing her mom in this light, making her be the babysitter, treating you the way that she treated you, and just handling life the way that she handled it, made her feel like, I don't want to be a part. You know what I'm saying? So it's definitely important to look at the kids, ask questions, how you feeling, like do those checkups.
Absolutely.
Do those checkups.
So, I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you, man. This is like a perfect storm, a train wreck waiting to happen. And the only reason why I say it is because it was so many traumas going into this situation.
Yeah.
That was kind of like what they say, like an onion, like it's a layer after layer after layer after layer, and every layer make you cry even more. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly what happened.
And I mean, it's deep, man. It's deep because I look at like, and I'm sure I ain't sure there's too many people, right? So like, it's a wild situation. I'm sitting here listening to your situation. At the age of 14, my mom, she had what they call, I like to call it the nervous breakdown, but she had a separation thing where she started having kids early on, and by the time I got 14, she wanted to break. She broke, and she was just like, I'm out. And she met an Arabic guy, moved to Clayton, nice house, nice situation, got married. He had his money, offered her a different life that she never lived before, offered her the break that she probably always imagined, a dream, right? You know what I'm saying? And she left us, right? And like you said, to be happy, right? To be happy. Now, looking back on it, I used to be upset with her, like what happened? You know what I'm saying? Because I'm at the age of 19, I was facing 40 years in prison, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm looking at like a lot of stuff that I had going on. You know what I'm saying? And I'm around grown men. Like, I'm around real grown men. We up and down the interstate from Texas to out to Atlanta. I'm like, I'm young. Like, I'm really out here, right? You know what I'm saying? And I look back on it, and actually when I started reading the Bible, I started to understand what true grace and mercy really is. Because not only do I have traumas, my mom had trauma. You know what I'm saying? My mom had trauma, and her mother had trauma. You know what I mean? And all led to everybody parenting out of trauma and dating out of trauma and whatever, right? But nobody ever came out of trauma, right? So how important is it, or what was the benefit from you seeking the help that you got, or getting the help that you got, which was counseling? And we all know that a lot of black people, man, we tend to either not know about it,
Or don't believe in it.
don't believe in it, or we shun it, or we knock it, right? Can you tell people your experience with counseling?
Counseling was amazing because it helps you hold yourself accountable for things that you've done that you want to fix. It's not, you don't go to them, this person did this person did that. You do, but what did you do as well? How did you react to it? And then you be truthful and tell the counselor how you react to it, and then they'll tell you, okay, this maybe not the best way to do it. Maybe you should try this or look at it this way, and it helps a lot. It helps change perspectives. I think a lot of times when we make decisions on things, it's just how we look at it. It's just how we perceive it.
Absolutely.
And if we had a different perspective on, okay, well that happened. All right, well, should I go the negative route? Should I go the positive route? On how to look at it, it helps a lot on how we can avoid a lot of conflict situations and deal with things.
We add meaning.
Yeah.
We add meaning to any situation.
Yeah.
Every situation fundamentally is really neutral.
Yeah.
We make it a bad thing or
Absolutely.
because of what we talk, because of what we told, because of the way it feel emotionally.
Because of what we experience, because of
Exactly.
our traumas.
And when you move in trauma, instead of, let's just say, imagination, your create whatever it may be, you're going to see the bad side of everything.
Everything.
You know?
Yeah.
So yeah, I get that.
So I mean, I think at the end of the day, it's important for us to understand that no matter if it's a relationship, parenting, whatever you experience in life, if it was traumatizing to you and it's kind of shaping the way that you move about day to day, you need to heal from it because you're looking at it from a negative standpoint, and that negative standpoint is your trauma. And it's not good, I swear to y'all, it's not good to look at life through a trauma-filled lens. It's not good. You're going to always come up short. You're going to always come up short. You're going to enter into situation after situation with certain expectations that are not realistic. You're trying to fill a void that is not that person's responsibility. It's definitely important to deal with your trauma. I'm learning this right now today just from being a psychology major. I'm learning a lot about myself while trying to learn how, the human brain works, emotions, and how to handle people and the way that they think and the way that they feel, why they feel the way that they feel. I'm learning a lot about myself. And like today, I can really say like, I don't have a desire to enter into not one other relationship, not now nothing, until I know for sure that I am fulfilled within myself. I can look in the mirror and be like, girl, you got it. Girl, you are the prize. You are what makes you happy. And I'm not there yet. I'm not there yet. So I think it's important for us to sit down with somebody. I don't care if it's seek counseling from somebody. You ain't gotta go to, no $high therapist or something. If you trust somebody and you know that they are genuine, sit down with them, talk to them, even if it's for 30 minutes a week. It's important to do that, to heal, for sure.
Just that accountability piece. Would that say? Would you say that's what you got the most from counseling?
Absolutely.
Was
Because
running different?
yes, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but that's what led me to realize that I had those issues. From what I did, how I reacted to things, to the accountability piece. That's the hard part. No one wants to be accountable for things. That is so hard
for sure.
to hold yourself.
For sure.
You almost made me melt.
It's like so
The accountability level in the room be low.
Yeah. And someone can always say, well, you did this, you did that. Like, someone can always do that, but if you hold yourself accountable,
Accountability
Yeah.
level be low.
it hurts.
It's hard.
I'm sorry.
It's a harsh realization.
Accountability be on Ernie and
Everything
Yeah.
that's happened to you.
I wanted to be on Frank, but it's on
your
Ernie.
choice. You
Yeah.
made.
Yeah.
You chose every single thing that's happened to you outside of, from being a little kid, things that, go on that we can't control. But once you become an adult,
Yeah.
teenage years, things like that, every single thing that happened to you is your decision.
Yeah.
And when you do that, you can't blame mommy, you can't blame daddy, you can't blame,
Can we clarify that real quick? Because I definitely do believe that. But it's only everything that happens to you is your decision because of your ability to control your
right.
response.
Exactly.
Like they say in the Bible,
Control your response.
the sins of the father will become the sins of the son, or the son will be held accountable for the sins of the father. You know what I'm saying? Like, we can't control what happens to us when we're young in a lot of different ways. But as we grow up and we realize I'm in control of my life, my destiny, whatever situation I go, I said yes to this thing, I said no to this thing. I took this opportunity, I missed this opportunity. Then when they lead us down certain paths, we want to blame the path.
Yeah.
We got to blame ourselves for taking that,
Yeah.
So that's a big
Yeah.
thing to it's painful, like you said.
Oh, yeah.
It's scary, to know that, like, okay, going forward, I got this mind. It's kind of like what they call woke. Like once you woke to this particular aspect of the way of thinking, you can't go back.
Can't go back.
You gotta take everything more seriously about your life.
I mean, I definitely agree with you, and I want one day I want to have that conversation about the woke thing. I won't bother it right now, right? But I want to have that conversation.
What you were saying when you said it, you can't. Basically, as adults, we can't blame our parents anymore. When we're kids, yeah, we can say, my mama didn't take me here, my mama didn't do this, my daddy didn't do this, my daddy didn't do that. But at some point, and I'm pointing this out because I was just having a conversation with one of my good friends, and at some point, we gotta stop blaming everybody else, because the way that we can call up our friends or our siblings or whatever and say, so-and-so did this and it made me feel some type of way, but I still made the decision to go in whatever direction they wanted me to go, then that was your fuck up.
You know,
So
This is my language, but that was your fuck up.
Yeah, that was definitely one for a personal stand that, my father, he's left when I was 2 years old. I've never been, like, we reconnected when I was 24. I saw him for the first time. So, and my behavior, I blamed on that. I blamed, like, why I was lashing out, why I wasn't this. My heart was dark. And I was like, man, I got to stop blaming my father for the choices that I'm making in my life. And I really was doing that. I was really, like, acting up, and then I just go back, reflect on what he left me. He didn't teach me this. He didn't teach me that. So then when I had a child of my own with my son, it definitely made me look at things differently. But accountability for me is very important. And when I start taking them accountability, like, come on, God, that ain't even on me. On you. That's on you. You did that because you made that choice. You know what I'm saying? But I don't want to not think about the trauma. The trauma that it did leave me. It really did let me.
That happened to you.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And as a man, I'm thinking like, man, like, I shouldn't have this trauma, you know what I'm saying? But it's real. Like, it really affected me. It affected me. So, accountability, just speaking on that, is very important.
You say you didn't want to not think about the trauma?
I tried not to. Vices, man. I was doing this, doing that, and you know what I'm saying? Not trying to think about it. But it was still there because he still wasn't there. You know what I'm saying? So I'm trying anything to try to fill that void. For real.
So it's two ways to not think about something. Is you can either avoid it or you can acknowledge, accept it, and
you gotta hit it head on.
You
gotta hit it head on. That's what I had to do. I had to hit it head on. Like, I kept running away from it, but I'm like, you know what? I gotta hit this situation head on. So when I start hitting it head on, it started becoming more easier for me. Then it made it easier for my son, how I treat him, how I look at him, even though I was in his house. Even though I was in his life, but it started making it easier, like, you know what I'm saying? Looking at it, I'm telling you, it looked at things differently.
Absolutely.
But going through it is so hard. It hurts so bad.
And men, we don't want to even to acknowledge that. You know, we already in the shell. We think like, oh, I'm not a man. You know, but man, you can't hold that shit in, man.
But see, that you know what? That's a false narrative that been pushed up on us.
It is.
And then
but it's
we
true,
respond.
Yeah.
We respond, right? Because the same people that stripped us of our feelings are the same people that question why we don't feel.
Why we don't feel.
It's the same people that stripped us of our feelings. And I'm like, hold up, bro. Like, at one point, God was like, men don't do this and men don't do that, men don't do that. And now you telling me as a man why I'm doing this and why I'm doing that. It's like, hold up. It's like a double. Like, you know what I'm saying? And actually, I got that. I'm gonna give a salute to my son, Justin Jr. For a long time, man, like, I was very a cold-hearted person. You know what I'm saying? Because the way I was raised around a whole. I know I look kind of polished right now, right? But I was raised around a whole bunch of heartless individuals. You know what I'm saying? Where money was the motive, and that was it. You know what I'm saying? And money was the root of all evil, right? The love of money is the root of all evil. They had the love of money. You know what I'm saying? And like when I say it was like that, and it molded me, it shaped me in a way where I didn't feel how the normal person person felt. I didn't even look at life how the normal person looked at life. It was like, hey, let's get this done. And a lot of the people that raised me, they played on my traumas, right? You know what I'm saying? Because, like, I can attest to hurt people.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So when I got out there, I had a heart of a lion. Like, you know what I'm saying? And it wasn't nothing that nobody couldn't ask me to do to nobody that I even blinked the eye at.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that's what allowed me to survive around older men. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of them older men didn't have the heart that I had, based on the traumas that I was healing from. But anyway, what I'm saying is, my son, I started to raise him, and it was all just like, hey, what's the mission? You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, you want to do this? All right, cool. You say we're gonna do this, regardless, ain't no excuses. 0, 0, 0. We getting it done. And I never really tripped off of embracing him, affection. I never tripped off none of that, like, cause I didn't have it. But he used to tell me when they got older, and as we get older, we tend to start to look at life different. And I started looking at life differently. And I'm like, hey, bro, like, what happened, man? You ain't called me. You ain't do this. You ain't do that. You ain't do this. You ain't do that. And he actually said it. He said, where these feelings come from? He's like, you ain't never felt like that. He said, bro, you made me into this. And now you telling me that I can't be this. And it took my mom to come move with me at one point for me to look at her, and she just like, Justin, you heartless. And I'm like, bro, you took my heart with you when you left.
So, do we have any finishing
Closing
last
statement?
words?
Oh, yeah. Okay.
What,
I appreciate
that
it.
was. Mr. Rashad, what advice would you give to somebody that's kind of going through the same situation or any situation similar to what you've been through? What advice would you give to
My
them?
advice is to make healing a number one priority. Put God first in your life and heal. I can honestly say, after all that happened, I cried 8 months straight every single day. And
It's a good release.
and it just comes out of nowhere. Plus, you're grieving, you're hurting. But I can honestly say, 8 months straight, from January to August, I cried every day. And that's not a weakness; it's a strength.
Yeah, for sure.
It's a strength. And once you get on the other side of healing, the world is different.
Yes.
You look at things different. Perspective is different. You treat people different. You love different. And you don't allow the things you allowed because you had the traumas that made you allow the things that you allowed. But make healing number one priority. It's a strength to cry, not a weakness.
Right.
And seek counseling. It helps. It's very important. It helps you change your perspectives on things and look at things differently. So that would be my advice.
So yeah, we definitely enjoy you coming on this episode of Culture Unplugged. We appreciate your advice. And yeah, that's a wrap.
That's a wrap.
That's a
Right
wrap.
with it. Hey, until next time, y'all.
Give ourselves a round of applause.
Yeah.
That's good.
So